And getting acceleration here again with the 2.3. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands with the 33-inch tires and some other cool off-road goodies. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to Performance Ford Truckland for giving me some time with this Bronco. This is actually their test drive unit, so if you want to drive a Bronco with 33s, come visit them. And with all that being said, let's get straight into the video. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.3 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 17 on the highway. The axle ratio on this particular one is 4.46. And then we've got power outputs of 300 horsepower and then 325 pound-feet of torque. Now, I'm not going to go over every single detail on the Bronco like what I normally do in my reviews because I've reviewed quite a few Broncos. I just want to focus on the Badlands part of it and then also the 33-inch tires. And you guys can see Cyber Orange, pretty cool. So this one's got the upgraded bumpers, which obviously look absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the cool things about the Badlands package itself. And I'll show you guys the window stickers. You can see everything that's standard and then everything that is optional as well. But yeah, the bumper definitely looks great. And obviously added practicality. That's going to survive off-road conditions way better than a plastic bumper would. Now, you still have like the oversized fender flares. Coming here to the side, it looks super aggressive. And actually, we'll pop over on the other side so you guys can see the wheel design a little bit better because the sun's shining on it. Looks really cool. These are the beadlock capable wheels. Now again, we've got 33-inch tires. If you guys are wondering, 17-inch wheels, and the tires are 285 millimeters in width. And then you do have the Badlands suspension, so you guys can kind of see that there. And then we'll pop under here so you can see a little bit better just underneath. Not the greatest view, but not the worst either. And we'll kind of pop over here so you can see it from the front as well. Looks great. If you guys are wondering, it's the Bilstein shocks. Now, aside from that, here's kind of like the side view so you guys can see the stance that this package has, which I think it looks great. Obviously, it's not as big as what you get with the Sasquatch with the 35s, but it still looks really aggressive. I mean, the thing that's great about Performance Truckland is they have a bunch of trucks. You guys can see this next to like a pickup truck, like just how big it actually is. I think it looks fantastic. And then we'll pop over here to the rear so you guys can see the shocks in the back as well. Again, those Bilstein shocks, got the exhaust tip hanging out there in the back. But yeah, I think this is great from an aesthetic standpoint, and I think this is a lot more practical also for just to get right, and then also for on-road use. If you're not going to be taking this off-road, you really don't need the 35s, and so this is going to be a little bit less expensive to maintain right, because when you have to replace 35s, that's a lot more money than having to replace 33s. Yeah, the spare tire there on the back, and then also this one obviously is a soft top. But let's pop the inside. Ooh. So here's the interior in the back. First off, I love the gray trim right here because it contrasts nicely to the seats. So you've got the full leather seats here. They have this cool like gold stitching that again matches the Cyber Orange pretty well. You'll notice that accenting all over the interior on this one. But just wanted to kind of show that to you guys. And I love how you have a no step right there in the center. But that all looks great. And then also you guys obviously know if you take off the top, got the Cyber Orange that pops out, and then also it's kind of all around there. Looks really cool. Definitely like it. Lights up the interior quite a bit. And then you can see the door panel here in the front, all the same. And then we do have blind spot monitoring with this one with the mirrors. And then notice the accenting there. All of it looks really good. And these seats are very nice. Like they're really soft. So one thing I love about the Bronco seats, they're definitely softer than what you get with the Jeep Wrangler. But yeah, there's kind of like the whole look right there. And then we will pop in. It's even on the vents. I love this thing. It looks so cool. It's not on the steering wheel though. The stitching on the steering wheel is just black. And then it's on the other grab handle as well. And then the one thing we'll focus on is the drive modes that come with this. So you guys can see you've got the normal, eco, slippery, mud ruts, sand, Baja, and then rock crawl. There's different drive modes for different Bronco packages. This one doesn't have the sport, whereas other Broncos will have the sport mode, but then you won't have the Baja mode, so it just depends on which Bronco, but they all have the same screen. And then being the Badlands, you have the disconnect with the front end, you've got the front and rear lockers, you've got the trail turn assist, you have all the off-road tech with the Badlands here, which is definitely cool. And the coolest thing about this is it's all on the fly, so you can be in the middle of a trail, in the middle of a movement, so you could have 3 wheels in the air, and then boom, do the disconnect, or lock the front, or lock the rear. I learned that at the Bronco Off-Road, definitely awesome. And then this one has the smaller infotainment system, which no complaints there. I think it's more than enough from a size perspective. I still think it looks great and functionality is great. And then dual zone climate, heated seats, all that fun stuff. And you guys can see this whole area with the drive mode select. And then you do get 4-wheel auto also as part of the Badlands package. Still have the off-road cruise control, which is all fun and great. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, also auxiliary switches. Forgot to mention that. We got the auxiliary switches, but we'll go over the window sticker and then we'll take this out, drive it, and see what the 33s drive like. So here's our window sticker for this Badlands, and you guys can see we've got, again, the cyber orange. And then I love the fuel economy rating. It's almost just like the Sasquatch Broncos, where those are 17-17, but this one you get a little bit better around town. But anyways, so you guys can see the standard equipment here at the top. So like those bumpers, for example, are part of the Badlands package. And then also the suspension as well. And then you guys can see that this one is a 332A package, so it's a mid package. And all the stuff that comes with that. And then the rest, the optional equipment. So those 33-inch tires are an optional package you can get with this. And notice that it kind of like all comes together, which is pretty interesting. And then you guys can see over here, base price, and then after options. And then total MSRP, $51,970. And that all being said, let's take her out and see how she drives with 33s. We'll quickly go over visibility, so you guys can see visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear. And I think it's funny that that Wrangler is like almost the same color. That paint isn't as pretty as what you have in the new Broncos, but that looks cool. And I don't know, thought I'd mention it. But anyways, let's set off. So we are going to be setting off here in the Badlands Bronco with the 33s and the 2.3. I'm sure this is gonna be pretty interesting for a lot of you because there's a lot of people that haven't been able to get access to the 2.7, so you've had to order a 2.3, and so this will really show if this 2.3 has the oomph to move real tires, right? Because 33s are more than enough for off-road stuff. I mean, that's what the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon has had for such a long time. Love the turbo noise. Yeah, I love the 2.3. So first off, I guess we'll talk about that part of the Bronco, and then we'll talk about the tires and everything. I want to get a little bit more time with feeling how this goes over bumps and everything with the shocks, and then also with these tires to see if it's really worth it. But from an engine perspective, it's more than enough power. You've got so much low-end torque from the 2.3, and it just pushes it. And this really is supposed to compete against like a V6 Wrangler or a 2.0 Wrangler. And when you compare this to a V6 Wrangler or a 2.0 Wrangler, this just destroys both of them. So much more power, so much more torque, and you feel it. Like it's real world feeling. It's not just on paper. And so yeah, compared to the Wrangler from that perspective, does so much better, especially compared to the V6. Like this just annihilates the V6. But moving on from the performance of this and the fact that yes, it is more than enough to move these tires, let's actually talk about what the ride quality is like. So on road, it's actually really smooth. It's nice. Again, I'm looking at this from the perspective of a Wrangler. When you compare this from a ride quality perspective on road to a Wrangler, it is exceptionally smooth. It soaks things up really well, and it's not annoying. Now, you do get more wind noise than what you're going to get in a regular vehicle, just like the Wrangler. You get a little bit more tire noise than what you're going to get in a regular vehicle, just like the Wrangler. Is it worse than the Wrangler? No. It's the tire noise and wind noise, they're about the same between both the vehicles, which makes sense because like when you set a Bronco and a Wrangler next to each other, like there's so many, they're both boxy, you know, SUVs where you can take off half the vehicle. They look so similar. So yeah, that all is about the same. But for these 33s, they're definitely louder than what you get with like the standard tires. So if you do like the more on-road setup with a Bronco, like the Big Bend package, for example, I've reviewed a couple of those now, or at least one of those, and that has more like on-road tires. You can definitely perceive a sound difference between them, that is for sure. The turn signal looks so cool. I can see the reflection in this focus, and the turn signal looks great. Auto stop start super seamless, so that's definitely nice. And then I have had some people ask me about like the soft top versus the hard top. And here's what I've noticed, because I've driven both of them and I've driven them both back to back as well. I can't really tell a difference too much at low speeds between a soft top and a hard top. At higher speeds, the hard top is slightly quieter. It's not a huge difference. It is perceivable, but it's very, very slight. So like, if you're kind of torn between, you know, waiting on getting a hard top in or just switching your order over to a soft top, the difference isn't a massive amount. But if you do a ton of highway driving, I'd recommend, yeah, wait for that hard top to come in. But if you don't do a ton of highway driving, you're just kind of, you know, driving around town, it's not that big of a difference, unless you hate the look of the soft top. I've heard that from some people as well. But I'll get back to you guys in just a moment. Get up and get an acceleration here again with the 2.3. Yeah, it's seriously, it's more than enough power. Anyone who says the 2.3 is not enough is full of it. But let's kind of continue talking about this 33-inch package, and obviously the Badlands package as well. I kind of talked about the seats a little bit earlier. Seats are really comfortable. They're soft, but they're also supportive. They're definitely more comfortable than Wrangler seats. Like these vinyl seats that this one has, because that's what's in the window sticker, it's the vinyl seats. Definitely recommend them. They're very comfortable. Like this is definitely the most comfortable seat that you can get in this type of off-road SUV, which is just this and the Wrangler. So yeah, there's that. Now, let's kind of finish things up here with the 33-inch tire package. So first off, it looks great from an exterior aesthetics perspective, and it doesn't ruin the driving experience. It still drives great. Now, this doesn't really drive that much different than a Sasquatch. I can't really perceive a difference. Like, I've driven plenty of Sasquatches now, and this feels pretty much the same. It doesn't seem like there's any less or any more tire noise, which you'd expect there to be more tire noise with the Sasquatch because it's got bigger tires, but it's about the same. The acceleration, it doesn't feel any slower either. It doesn't feel any faster. So like, it doesn't seem like you really lose or gain anything from a ride quality perspective than from an acceleration perspective. You obviously have better fuel economy, 1 mile per gallon better around town. But I mean, when you're getting around 17 miles per gallon anyways, 1 mile per gallon is negligible, so it doesn't even matter. So yeah, it feels about the same as the Sasquatch package, but obviously this is a lot less expensive. Like the Badlands that I tested down in Texas that had the Sasquatch was like 60 grand. This is like 50 grand. That's a huge difference. And then also availability. It's easier to get a 33-inch package than it is to get a 35-inch package. So there is that. But let's get into giving this a rating, obviously, and this is something new for the channel, is giving these vehicles a rating. And what I want to mention is I'm basing this off of other vehicles this actually competes against. I'm not going to give it like other channels. When they give vehicle ratings, they will like mix them all together and they'll rate the vehicle based on stuff that it doesn't even matter for it. Like if I rated this based on let's say it's fuel economy, like that's not what this is about. This isn't about getting great fuel economy. So based in the segment that this is in, based on this particular Bronco, so Badlands with the 2.3 with 33-inch tires, I'm gonna rate this at a 8.5 out of 10. Now the reason I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10 is there's a few other Bronco packages that I like more than this package, so I can't give it a perfect score. That being said, if you're going to buy a Bronco and you want something that looks cool but you're not going to be taking it off-road, this is the package. Well, not necessarily the Badlands package, but a package with a 33s, that's the package you get. So you still get the cool looks. It's going to be a little bit less expensive to maintain because, again, tires are going to be cheaper. And also, look at that, we did some off-roading hardcore. It's going to be a little bit less expensive to maintain. Again, it still looks great, and it'll be cheaper to purchase as well. And so yes, I recommend Bronco with the 33s if you're not going to take it off-road. If you just have it as a mall crawler, you just want something that looks cool. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10. The only Broncos that really are above this is because I actually off-road Sasquatch, so anything with the Sasquatch package is going to get that extra 0.5 rating. And then either a Sasquatch Badlands or a first edition, that with the 2.7, that would be the highest rating if you guys are wondering. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and that's all. Now that's going to sum things up for our video on this 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands with the 33-inch tires. And with all that being said, again, a huge shout out and thank you to Performance Ford Truckland for giving me some time with this Bronco. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.